Board meeting. Would you please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Linda, can you help us out with the roll call, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we're going to start with trustee Shaughnessy.
Here.
Snagowski.
Here.
Whoop.
Stapleton, absent. Kittredge. Here. Maher's absent. McClafferty.
Here.
Okay, thank you. We're getting a little bit of feedback.
It might be Josh's.
Okay. Okay, next up. Well, we'll see if we can fix that.
My TV's on, it's the only one.
Yeah, he can turn
George, we can hear you. It sounds like it's the Lamont TV, the one on the right.
Unless someone's using an Apple. If you're using an Apple
Okay.
computer, they always are like a half a second.
Oh, is that right?
That's better now.
I think it's better now. We could live with this. Okay? Sorry for the technical difficulties there. Moving on to the consent agenda, consists of the following. With the approval of minutes for the October 25th Village Board meeting. We have the approval of disbursements. We have an ordinance amending the Lamont Municipal Code, Chapter 5.04, Section 5.04.060 for alcoholic beverages. We'll be increasing the number of D1 liquor licenses. We have an ordinance amending the Lamont Municipal Code, Chapter 5.04, Section 5.04.060 for alcoholic beverages. We will be increasing the number of Class A3 liquor licenses. We have an ordinance amending the Lamont Municipal Code, Chapter 5.04 liquor licenses, creating Class E-1-X liquor license for a retirement facility. We have an ordinance amending the Lamont Municipal Code, Chapter 5.04, Section 5.04.060, again for alcoholic beverages. We will be increasing the number of Class E1X liquor licenses. We have a resolution, approving the proposal from Artistic Holiday Designs. And we have a resolution approving an environmental insurance policy on property leased from the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Snagowski, seconded by trustee Kittredge to approve the items on the consent agenda. Do we have any questions or comments regarding the consent agenda by the trustees? Okay, let's have a roll call, please.
Shaughnessy.
Yes.
Snagowski.
Yes.
Kittredge. Yes. McClafferty.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. All right, next up, we got the mayor's report here. To start with, all are welcome to join the observance of Veterans Day this Thursday, November 11th at 11 a.m. at the World War II Monument at the corner of Main and Lamont Streets. Main Street will be closed from Lamont to New Avenue during this time. Again, that's 11/11 at 11 a.m. Also, since we will not be having a village board meeting on November 22nd, again, no meeting on the 22nd, we want to wish everyone in advance a very happy Thanksgiving Day. Enjoy. Also, we want to remind everyone, Shop Business Saturday is on November 27th, so be sure to visit our local shops for your holiday shopping. Again, let's keep Lamont in business if possible. And again, as everyone knows, the money you spend in Lamont does come back through our sales tax back to the village. So again, please shop local, and more importantly, please support our local businesses. Also, Hometown Holiday is on Saturday, December 4th from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. in downtown Lamont. Santa will be there. He will be arriving for our annual tree lighting ceremony at 5 p.m. on the lot next to Next Mex on Front Street. It's amazing that we're able to get him every year. So Linda, great job scheduling that. There are many activities taking place and some new surprises this year. So please visit our website at lamont.il.us/holiday. Also, Lighting Up Lamont. Again, this will brighten up your holiday season with illuminated lighting displays in our downtown. Be sure to stroll through the Candy Cane Lane and walk around downtown to enjoy the sights, scenes, and activity. Shop at our mom and pop shops. Again, visit our restaurants and taverns and just enjoy the holiday season. Be sure to visit Artistic Holiday Designs preview of their Amaze Holiday Light Show that will be at Impact Field in Rosemont. The preview is on Main Street next to Lamont National Bank. So again, we continue to support the holiday design. We get some great feedback from out-of-towners, and we just get some phenomenal feedback from the shops, the stores, the restaurants, the taverns, so forth, so on. It drives a lot of business through town. And every year, all I hear is, you know, why do we take them down right after Christmas? So I know we're keeping them up like we did last year. And again, it's you know, I think it's been incredible feedback, and it's been great for our businesses as well. Also, you can always check out our community calendar on the front page of our website at lamontil.us for the many events going on in town. So that's it for the mayor's mention. We do have a Truth in Taxation hearing for the 2021 proposed property tax levy. I do need a motion to open up this public hearing, please.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion by trustee McClafferty, seconded by trustee Snagowski at exactly 6:37 p.m. Any questions or comments regarding this? Do we need to discuss this?
Darshana. Go ahead, Darshana.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On the 25th of October, at the previous village board meeting, the board had approved the 2021 property tax levy of $3,961,948, which was 4.26% higher than last year. Staff is asking that we hold this public hearing as just a transparency. We're not required by law, but it's just for transparency purposes. And also, of the 4.26% increase, 2.86 is due to growth. We had published a public notice in 2 different newspapers on the 27th and 29th of October regarding the public hearing.
Awesome. And so when you say growth, 2.8% of the increase is going to new
New growth.
businesses or residents, correct?
New growth.
Got it. And just to make this official, do we need a, just to go into the public hearing, I think we need do we need a motion? Or, I mean, not a motion, but do we need a vote, Mike?
You're fine if you opened the public hearing how you did it, and you stated the time, you're fine with that.
Okay, all right.
If we don't have anybody who wants to speak, then I'll make a motion to close the public
Might
hearing.
have
but
one.
you wanna- Go ahead, Jeanette.
I do have questions about the newspaper article that I read, and I don't understand what a special purpose property is. Is that something that's part of the zoning ordinance, special purpose, what is?
Jeanette, do you want to share that with,
The public hearing notice is actually a template out of the municipal code, out of the state statutes of the municipal code, so we follow it. The special purposes is that the 3.9 million, so they make us divide it up, and really it's all the encompassing property that is located in the village. So they make us divide up the sections. So we have to tell the residents how much do we have for the corporate and how much, which is the total, the 3.9, and then we have to tell them how much we have in debt service. But as we always have said, the debt service we abate, so we use it for other type of revenue. So the only type of revenue that we're actually levying for are basically services. And that is a template we have to do according to the state statute. It has to be in the paper, it has to be 1/4 in the front section of the paper, the rim has to be 1/8. So that is a format that we follow.
I understand that you follow the template, but I'm asking, what is a special purpose property? What is the definition of a special purpose property?
I believe the special purpose property is basically the property that we have to service. So if you take a parcel, we're supplying the police, so we have police pension levied against that. We're supplying public works, so we have, in our corporate, we have the public works, the snow plowing and everything. You have other type of, you have liability insurance. So each parcel basically.
Is it a
because they're
generic
community-
term? Is that what you're saying? So special purpose is generic
Yeah,
for,
it's just basically the categories that we presented to the board, and that is the special purpose for the parcels.
Okay, so does it include real estate?
It includes all properties that have an EAV, so it includes every single property that is in the village of Lamont. Because we're levying the taxes for.
Now, you might be reading a little too literal. It's special purpose property taxes. It's not designating a special purpose property. It's special purpose property taxes.
It's all properties.
you're-
It's not just one specific. It's every single parcel that
Taxes
is
are for special
within the
purpose.
village of Lamont. And there is not, if you look at all the community, because I looked when we posted it, there was LaGrange, every single community has the exact same wording, just the verbiage.
And just, again, to reiterate what was said, this is not necessary under the law. Anytime it's under 4.99% and an increase in the year, you don't need to have the hearing, so you're going above and beyond what's required under the law. It's unique that you do that, and I think it's, obviously to your credit that you're trying to be transparent, but 4.99% is the amount. And also, you have such a great deal of growth, that's always included in the I think it's 4.3 or something, 4.2 right now this year.
Yes.
So, just to clarify that on a legal basis, this is, again, not something you needed to do.
And I do want to mention too, we put it in 2 newspapers, like Darshana said. We also, this year, put it, it was just a suggestion, so we put it also on our website. In the calendar, we posted the public hearing. So we have posted it in 3 different places, the public hearing, which, like Mike said, we're not even required to.
It might be easier to read it as taxes for special purposes. Those special purposes are the ones that Chris read off.
But it's for every single parcel. There's no, it's a part of your tax bill.
so, just to reiterate, so basically, it's not over 5%. We do this each and every year, just more for the residents. It's going up 4.26%, but that's not necessarily 4.26% increase on everyone's tax bill because we have growth in there of new properties, which again is specifically, what was it, 2.86. So the delta between the 4.26 and the 2.86.
1.4.
I'm sorry, what is it, 1.4? Thanks.
And that's our limit that we have under the cap.
Okay.
So it's 4 point whatever on every,
No,
No, it wouldn't be on yours either because you're in the township.
yeah, but it's 1.4% if you lived in the village
And
for all all properties that are not new. So we've had new houses go in, we've had new commercial go in,
New annexations.
new annexations. Of that 4.26%, 2.86%. So 1.4% on the existing
On the existing with
people
inflation.
in the village.
it refers to everything. Every parcel that's taxed, it refers to that.
That's within the village, yes.
Okay.
But I do want to say too, is that you know, you may have a house that, you know, that the assessor came in and valued it. Well, this is just the total tax rate, basically, and if your overall EIV goes up everywhere, your tax rate may even go down. You know, like I said, it's all component. Lamont is only like 5% of the entire tax bill, you know, so it's a very, very small amount of the whole tax bill. So that's the portion we're talking about.
The village of Lamont.
The village, yes. Sorry, Village of Lamont, yes.
Yeah.
And
Village.
every taxing district is going through the same process.
I guess one other important distinction, this is a problem every year trying to explain this. So one other way to look at it is that if we don't include the levy on new properties, if we had more services, if we were adding, let's just say we add more services, then it would be distributed just on those that were taxed in prior years. So you have to include them because you've grown, so now you include those properties in the levy in order to be able to distribute the tax fairly across all properties. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it actually lowers, it lowers the individual taxes by percentage-wise by including more, even though you have,
It doesn't matter what the purpose of the property is, it's gonna get raised to that amount.
Correct.
Yeah.
General, yeah,
Whether it's residential, whether
Yes.
it's, you know, commercial, whatever, right?
And that's the beauty of adding new property, because think about it, we don't, you know, hire new George every time a new property comes in, or new Linda, or a new police chief. We're spreading the tax base, you know, amongst greater growth of 2.8.
the divisors goes up.
Yeah, so, and that's sometimes gets lost when people are saying, oh, you're growing. It's a negative thing. There is a positive point to it. So anyway, thanks, Darshana. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Any other questions or comments? Okay, need a motion to close
So
the
moved.
public session, please.
Second.
Okay, motion by trustee Snagowski, seconded by trustee McClafferty at exactly 6:47. Roll call, please.
Shaughnessy,
Yes.
Snagowski,
Yes.
Kittredge,
Yes.
McClafferty.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Okay, next up, we have the clerk's report. Linda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have ordinance O-4321, authorizing the purchase of real estate for a public purpose for 12421 South Archer and 12490 Derby.
Okay, need a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Kittredge, seconded by trustee Shaughnessy. George, you want to take this?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Attached for your consideration is an ordinance authorizing the purchase of approximately 3.92 acres of property located at 12421 South Archer and 12490 Derby Road in Lamont. The village has been evaluating sites for public purpose needs, primarily water storage needs over the last several years, and this site meets our criteria. Village legal and myself, we've been working with the seller's attorney for the last several weeks on negotiating price. That ordinance is up for approval tonight. We do have the ability to go into executive session to talk a little bit more about the terms, but I don't know, Mike, do you have anything under open session you wanted to?
I don't, other than the board, you've been provided both the terms of the general contract, and there's a rider that would address some of the concerns that we had when we were discussing it in executive session in the past. I think we've addressed all those, and if the board approves it, we're ready to close this month.
Awesome. And again, I know we've talked about this at length. We've looked at other properties as well, but George, you want to just quickly, go through what is this property going to be used for? Obviously, we've had, some water issues. We had some this past summer. This is going to help assist that. We've been out in front of this for over the last several years. We need a site for water storage, but we also need it for other things such as salt storage as well, public works, correct?
Correct, yeah. This goes back several years ago, 3 or 4 years ago now. We engaged a consultant or an engineer to look at our water needs village-wide. We were deficient in storage of water. per EPA and standards, or just best practices. So we've been trying to locate a site. We hadn't had one. This site, though, looks to be ideal. It's right in the middle of our water utility grid. It's a good piece of property that could house a water tower, but also, as the mayor mentioned, salt storage, other public works needs. The one, disadvantage over the years is we have one public works facility on the western part of town out on New Avenue by the tollway. And the village, it encompasses about 8 square miles going all the way out east to Bell Road. So just think about the operational issues of carting salt back and forth. So it'll be a good site over time. We are going to move forward in engineering it. The engineering has started. We're going to put the project out to bid. So you're going to see a lot more in the coming months about this site and the potential that it has coming next year after we bid the project publicly. But this is the first step to secure the site.
Yeah, and I think, Ralph is excited as well because, as you mentioned, you're in a snowstorm, you have to get salt trucks to the other end. Glenn's a Connemara could take upwards of 15 to 20 minutes in a snowstorm. So again, this is primary access, not only Archer, but Derby as well, correct?
Each way.
Yeah, each way, yeah. And so again, an ideal site. We've looked at other sites before. For various reasons, they didn't work out, but, again, this seems to be an ideal location, so excited about that. So, any other questions or comments on that? Okay, roll.
You want to, Jeanette?
So you're talking, there may be a water tank put there, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Jeanette.
Okay, and you're gonna have a garage for salt, or how are you gonna do that?
Still in the design, it'll be, I don't know if Ralph is on here now, it'll be a salt dome of some sort of garage. It'll be contained, just along with the water tower.
It's a pretty busy area,
Yep.
As far as traffic goes in that area. And it might be some kind of a problem once you're putting out trucks to salt streets. So just a comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one attractive part of it does have 2 access points. I mean, so you're not having all your traffic going on to Archer or Derby. But Ralph, you wanted any other comment on the site before we?
Sure, yeah, it can't be any more busy than New Avenue. It's pretty hectic down here as well. We always are very vigilant when we're, pulling in and out, but that will be no different up there on Archer and Derby. But it's gonna be, operational, for us to, deliver salt to the eastern portion of town.
Actually, the speed limit's 35 instead of 50, so on Derby, there's a lot less speed.
Right.
Although Archer's the same, 50 miles an hour, same as New Avenue. Those are state routes.
Okay, you're not moving all your operations there. It would just be for half the town. So now you're going to be equally dispersing that impact.
And Ralph, it would probably provide better or more timely service, correct, on the eastern part of town? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, for sure. When we're hauling salt from New Avenue currently to, the Glens of Connemara, during a snowstorm, it could take up to half an hour, 35 minutes round trip. And that just does not work when the snow is coming down an inch an hour. It just doesn't provide good service at all. So it's gonna cut down the travel time a lot, with us being able to do it in our train.
Awesome.
And that property is already in the village?
It's unincorporated currently, but it's
unincorporated.
contiguous to the
Do
village.
an annexation, bring it in?
Yeah, correct.
When we own it, we'll annex it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thanks, George, Ralph, Mike. Need a,
I made that motion, we need to vote on it.
yep,
That's where
need
we're at.
a roll call, please.
Shaughnessy,
Yes.
Snedowski,
Yes.
Kittredge,
Yes.
McClafferty.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
Okay, resolution R 7021, approving an international agreement between the Village of Lamont and the Illinois Department of Transportation for traffic signal maintenance.
Intergovernmental. Yeah,
Intergovernmental agreement.
Got it. No, I know what you meant.
I don't know what I said, but yeah.
Okay. Need a motion
So
to
moved.
approve.
Second.
Okay, motion by trustee McClafferty, seconded by trustee Snagowski. Ralph, you want to take this one?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is a resolution to have the village revisit our intergovernmental agreement with IDOT regarding our traffic signals that run through town on IDOT highways. It's basically the same agreement we've been working off of, but with the addition of 127th and State, which for years was not on that list, and I wasn't about to tell them. So they finally figured it out, and we've adjusted the agreement. So staff recommendation is to approve the IGA with IDOT.
Okay. Thanks, Ralph. Any other questions or comments of the trustees? Okay, roll call, please.
Shaughnessy,
Yes.
Snagowski,
Yes.
Kittredge. Yes. McClafferty.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
And the last is Resolution R7121, approving a professional service agreement with RAP Consulting Group for strategic planning and related consulting services.
Okay, need a motion, please.
Second.
Okay, motion by trustee Kittredge, seconded by trustee Snagowski. George, you taking this one?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We brought this up at the committee of the whole meeting last month, about good practice every 3 to 4 years or so to re-engage the board, a consultant, senior staff to do some higher-level strategic planning, goal setting, whatever you want to refer to it at, but just an opportunity to recalibrate our priorities, our outcomes, come up with new action plans, but probably more importantly, come up with new key performance indicators that we can all work towards over the next 3 to 4 years. We've worked with this particular consultant a couple times in the past. I think he has a really good, practical, cost-effective approach. We've had him out to do governance training and some other exercises with staff. I think we're really comfortable with him. And unique to this venture this time is we're going to do a little bit more upfront surveying than I think we've done in the past. We've done it throughout the term of a plan, but workshops with the village board, we're going to be putting out a stakeholder survey to the residents and also to our internal stakeholders, commission members, committee members, senior staff, to give you guys more information as you guys go through the planning process. So this tonight will just begin the engagement. It'll take every bit of 6 to 8 months to get through, but I think it'll be fairly worthwhile to start the process, Mr. Mayor.
Awesome. And again, strategic planning it's a multi-year, in that, this is the basis of what drives our policy and our visions, and it gives us, kind of like a compass to take us to where, we should be going, right?
Correct.
At
It's
a
something
high
to
level.
check in on yearly or annually during the budget process to make sure our spending lines up with our priorities according to this plan. I know I'm looking over at Chris, we get big points from the bond rating agencies, and every time you have your budgets that align with your priorities, that align with your spending, you get good points from Moody's. And not that that's not the only reason why we do it, but it's a good
Yeah,
roadmap.
I mean, it actually does give us money back, and it drives, lower
Part of that
ratings.
project from last time and going into this time, what's his name, Craig, right? Will he put out a scorecard of how we've done in the past on the last one? I mean, as long as we're engaging him
Yeah.
again, he would have all that information, or you guys would provide it, or has he already done that? And
Yeah.
you got it.
So that's part of we're going to be working with him on an environmental scan that'll it'll recap the previous engagement, give you a scorecard so you can work from going forward, correct?
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt, but are you gonna allow the people that live here to, be part of this group that you're having to plan ahead? And are we gonna have the results of that, at a meeting with the public before it is accepted?
All these meetings will be public, Jeanette. There's going to be surveys, as I mentioned, but the workshops are public meetings. So, yes.
Always are.
And with the, Zoom
Actually,
and
the
other
strategic plan
technologies.
has been published too. It might
Yeah.
still be
It's
out
all
on the
published on the
website.
internet,
That was
so.
published 4 or 5 years ago.
Love to have more participation.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. All right. With that being said, okay, Need a roll call, please.
Shaughnessy,
Yes.
Snagowski,
Yes.
Kittredge. Yes. McClafferty.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. All right, thank you, Linda. All right, next up, Mike, anything for the village attorney report?
It's been a busy month, working with staff and George on various items, but the only thing I would add is that there was a flurry of activity at the end of October for a special legislative session. The two relevant things, I think, would be that there was a change to the Gaming Act where it tries to at least level somewhat the field with between non-home rule and home rule communities, where before a non-home rule community was only able to charge $25 per gaming machine, and a home rule could charge up to $1,000. So now it's allowing a non-home rule community such as ourselves up to $250 per machine under the change in the act. There was also a home rule communities are allowed to charge per push or pull on the machines, but we don't get that because we're not home rule. That example probably is a $300,000 to $400,000 tax for a home rule community, but again, we're not home rule, so we don't get that. So I guess we get we net $225 per machine when our home rule communities are netting $400,000. And the only other item that I thought was important to note is the legislature approved the new remap for the congressional districts. You will not be in the 3rd congressional district, which used to be Lipinski's, and now it's Marie Newman. You'll be in 2 different districts, 1 and 6. One is starts in the south side of Chicago and kind of slithers down around Orland and then up. Currently, that's Bobby Rush's district. And then 6 is comes from the western part of the state. It comes down through the western suburbs and into the northern part of Lamont, and that's Congressman Bill Foster's district. So it hasn't been signed. It will be signed, and so we'll have to be working on relationships with the new congressional candidates.
So
Has
that's,
been any talk of any challenges to that?
No, it's it passed by a supermajority. It's pretty much in stone.
kind of splits right around like 127th
It does.
Street. I
Yeah,
mean,
for the
give or take, which is kind of a bummer because we've always had the same Congress person. And so now we're going to have half the town with Foster, half the town with, you said Bobby Rush,
Right.
which is amazing how these maps are
Yeah, and
drawn.
it's
So that's
we were when it was going on, we were at different times in 4 or 5 different congressional districts. At one time, it was going to be 3, and another time it was going to be Caston's district. But at the end, we got put into 2. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you. I
All right,
appreciate it.
thanks, Mike, appreciate it.
Plenty of entries for the parade.
Yes, one more float. It's gonna make the betting on the St. Patrick's Day parade an extra minute. Okay, George, Administrator report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple quick items. We're going to be having a committee of the whole on Monday here in the same room. We're going to have a representative from Waste Management is going to come out and talk to the board. We talked last committee of the whole about our refuse, recycling and landscape contract setting to expire here soon. We do have favorable terms for the village to extend up to 3 years, and our rep's going to be here to talk about that process. If you have any questions, and public as well, I think it's if we didn't have that term in the contract, I think we would be forced to go to RFP. They're favorable. The market is pretty volatile right now. So essentially with some CPI increases, the same contract, but we're going to talk about it more on Monday. So we're going to save that for Monday, and then if favorable, we'll have to act on it by the end of the year.
Okay.
Speaking of which, you mentioned we're canceling our November 22nd meeting. So our last and final voting meeting will be December 13th, right, Chris? So that is our longest meeting in terms of number of items. Usually it's fairly routine, but all of our bond abatements, tax levies, anything we need to wrap up for the year will be December 13th. So
You'll be interested in that when it's where the taxes are abated, so we give you back the money.
we hand out checks. Yeah. No, that's a good meeting though, because it wraps up the year. And the other thing to keep an eye out, we will be sending out our newsletter. I know Linda and I, we've been talking about it. We may have missed June. No one noticed, but I think we send out so much throughout the year. But we're going to be sending out our newsletter at the end of this month. Keep an eye out for that. We talked about water. Everything we went through in the summertime is related but unrelated. We are evaluating some Lake Michigan water options. These are for the future. These are insurance policies for the distant future, but there's opportunities to look at them now where it could be advantageous for Lamont. I think we're not doing our jobs if we don't dig in and evaluate. So there'll be some information on that, and also keep an eye out for dates. We're going to have workshops. Many other towns have gone through this, for years. Our water supply is pretty solid, Ralph will tell you, but there's always, looking out to the future, there's always opportunities to evaluate the need for Lake Michigan water, and we're going to do that over the next few months. We've been having internal meetings, but now's the time to kind of bring everybody up to speed, and some real exciting meetings ahead, I could tell you. I can see Ralph over there, but no, keep an eye out for that, the newsletter, and then next Monday, if you're around and you're interested in the refuse contract, come out to the committee of the whole. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, George. We'll jump to staff reports. Mark or Ralph, do you have anything?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Speaking of waste management, just a reminder that yard waste pickup will be ending the week of December 5th on your respective pickup day. So go get your paper bags, rake up those leaves and get them out to the street. It's a service you've already paid for. Just a reminder that will end the week of December 5th.
Okay. So leaves got to be raked by the 5th and bagged up, okay. All right, Chief, do you have anything for us?
I do, Mr. Mayor, a couple things. Last week, we had the theft cruise in town again. I'm in the middle of the day. An alert citizen recognized something suspicious in the neighborhood and called us, and we were able to stop them while they were in the act of looking for cars. And they ran from us, and we chased them out on the 355. Since then, we put out a bulletin kind of describing the incident, but since then we've had numerous incidents of suspicious vehicles with folks calling in. None of them have turned out to be legitimate, but we welcome the calls. If you see something suspicious in your neighborhood, it doesn't belong, and call us. We will chase down every lead, and that's the way we'll keep Lamont safe. So thanks for those calls and keep them coming in. The second thing, you may see some scruffy-faced officers around for the next couple months. We are again doing a cancer fundraiser for No Shave November, which will extend through the end of February. This year we're doing the fundraiser for a resident 2-year-old named Parker who has Ewing sarcoma, and he's in the middle of 36 treatments of chemo. So he's a fighter. If you're interested in donating to Parker's benefit, you can drop a check off made out to the Lamont Police Benevolent Association, put No Shave into the tagline, and then drop it off at the police station, and we'll present that to his parents in January. Thank you.
Chief, one quick question. I know we talked about it last week with the robberies in town or the crews coming through town. Last year, we were fortunate enough to get a donation of, I think, 20 to 25 LPR license plate reader cameras that we put up. I know we're still working through some kinks on getting them all up and functioning, but are these successful in capturing some good data to notify your officers in the field, or what's happening with the license plate reader cameras?
The license plate readers are up. We only have 2 locations right now where they're, we still don't have them up, and that's on Main and 83, and then up at 135th and Archer. But remember, the LPRs are really leads generating cameras. They're post-activity cameras. They do have some functionality to put plates and other things in through license plate dumps from the state of Illinois. I think it's kind of a nation technology. We're still trying to figure out how to use that from a proactive basis, but that's really not what the cameras were intended to be, but we're trying to get as much functionality out of them as we can.
Thanks, Chief. And again, as far as the incidents we have, I've been in plenty, contact with, fellow mayors. I mean, we're not the only town this is happening. I mean, it's happening across, definitely in the southwest suburbs, especially in suburbs where there's quite a bit of car parking going on in the streets. And unfortunately, we do have quite a bit of that. And, I've seen other towns, they're putting out signs, please lock your doors. Again, I think we all understand that we need to keep our doors locked, the cars locked. And unfortunately, they've progressed from coming, at 2 a.m, going and, checking cars that are unlocked, but now they're, doing it in broad daylight. And that's very unfortunate. But again, Chief, thanks to your staff and the force as far as at least, taking care of the last incident. It discouraged it. So again, we want to encourage our residents to continue. If you see suspicious behavior, if you see, neighbors that are really not neighbors, that look suspicious, obviously, please make the phone call and at least in this case, it helped out. So again, thanks, Chief. And, if there's any other types of, as far as just messaging, again, I think what you did last time is good for the public. Again, we're not immune to this, and I think it just keeps everyone informed as far as the incidents going on. All right, next up, I'm sorry, Chris or Darshana, do you have anything as far as, okay. All right, next up, any board reports or unfinished or new business?
I've got 2 new business items I'd like to throw out for
Yeah, go ahead, Rick.
consideration before the end of the year. One, I'd like to put together a motion, or a resolution to provide future, on a future agenda yet in 2021, if we can fit it in, to establish a budget somewhere in the range of $15,000 to $20,000 per year to maintain and continue our Christmas and holiday decorating. We purchased a bunch of the material that goes up now that's going to need maintenance in the future. We don't have any provisions for that maintenance, and we don't have any provisions for replacement. Also, there may be addition as what's his name, the provider
Holistic
is
design.
moving out of the area.
Yeah.
We don't have the same necessary guarantee that he's going to provide additional stuff. He tries when he can, but it's been successful for the businesses. It brings in more tax dollars. I think it's been a good idea, and it's shown a good return. So I think it'd be a good place for us to establish a budget item for that. So that's one. The second one is that I think we need to put together a resolution to amend our presence at these board meetings to allow for virtual type formats, whether they be in Zoom or they be Teams or some other. I'm not sure about the Google one. That might be a little bit, it's provided free and it may not offer enough options. But Teams is a Microsoft one and Zoom is their own. Although Zoom is I just heard the other day, they're gonna start including advertising on it, so I don't know if it's gonna interrupt the meeting or not. I don't know that. If that happens, then we wanna,
watching our
take a
meetings?
look at Teams and how that works and but it'll be based on how many we can, include. So anyway, Mike, that made that kinda, you get the point of what I'm trying to say. And I think we need to put those on the agenda before the end of the year so we can use those next year as a tool.
Great, thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Rick. Anyone else? Okay. So, next up, audience participation.
Kevin wants something?
Oh, go ahead, Kevin.
Sorry, Mayor. So real quick, I just want to reiterate what you and the chief said about safety in the village. And to remind residents that calling 911 is the proper format to notify the police here. In the past, there was a reluctance of people to call 911 when they felt it truly wasn't an emergency. But that is the form of communication with the police department. It doesn't have to be life and death. If people call a secondary number, a non-emergency, that puts a delay into it. And then, that could keep us from basically, at the police department, from actually getting a quick start on suspicious activity. So I just want to remind the residents to use 911. The best protection this village has are the 17,000 people that live here. When they see something out of place, they should immediately call 911, not call a family member, not call their neighbor. Call it, get the cops out there, let them investigate whether it is truly criminal activity or misinformation or whatever. So thank you very much.
It works. I was in a meeting today with my phone in my back pocket, and it went off whistling. Apparently, both buttons on the Apple, which I've never had it happen before, called emergency call. 911 called me. I just disconnected it. 911 called me right afterwards and said, "Do you have an emergency?" I told them just what I told you now. No, I don't. But they were right on it. So,
Good to see our dispatch is working.
exactly.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Anyone else? Okay. All right. Next up, George, you want to take over audience participation?
Yeah, audience participation section of the agenda. If anyone wants to come up to the podium, they can have 3 minutes. We've always opened it up to the public for the meeting. If they can't come, they can submit an email or a phone call, read it to the record. We did not receive any. So, I don't know. Jeanette, you have anything else? Or you're all good?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a few minutes.
You have 3 minutes. Do you want to come to the podium?
Some very old issues that have not been addressed as far as I'm concerned, and it has to do with the development between Parker and Derby on 103rd, from 131st to about 135th.
Which side? Which side?
Mm,
The whole thing, Derby to Parker.
Derby to Parker.
South.
Kettering.
Kettering?
Talking about Kettering.
Kettering.
Enclave,
Okay.
Okay.
Lowell Point.
So, my name is Jeanette DeBarris, and I've lived in the area for 32 years. I was there when they cut all the trees down for Kettering. They did it on a day when I couldn't even go to court and try to get them to stop. There were 100, 200, 300-year-old oak trees that came down. It went on, and the development was put into effect. If anybody questions that, I have pictures of when those trees came down and what they did. I think it was a travesty, and in looking to the future, I would like somebody to take some time to look at the developments that are going in and to make sure that, we don't make it worse for climate change. And that's my concern for that. There was 131 acres there. There was a fabulous old house on there that was burned down twice, went up to flames. This is what's been going on. This is the history of the area. We tried in a very hard way to get a good developer in there. What we got wasn't what really we wanted. I mean, 250 homes on that property with the streets going in and everything. Streets are so narrow, people park on either side of them. It isn't an ideal subdivision, but here's my problem, and that is with there not being a stoplight on Parker Avenue. The other thing is there was supposed to be a park in that development. No park ever came about. There was supposed to be a smaller area that were only supposed to be small homes that, backed up to our subdivisions. And that never happened. We ended up with 19 homes in that area, big homes, with their own street that just comes off of Derby and goes back out on Derby. So it would be really nice if we could get a park and a stoplight on Parker. It is a very dangerous thing. Now, I know somebody once told me, well, that's a county road and we don't have any say. You're the village. You have a say over that property, and there's been a number of accidents, is what I've been told there, and it's very dangerous, and it really needs to be taken care of. to have a subdivision of that size, 250 homes, coming off of Parker. It's necessary to have it. That's for my area. I'm sorry, I didn't get the woman's name, but she was complaining to me that there are 2 railroad crossings in the village here. And she said that one of them is bad. You can't go over it. It's boom, 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 boom. I thought that would be something that, the railroad would have to take care of. I didn't think that the village would be able to go in and fix that problem. If I'm wrong there, I'd appreciate to know it. But it's also dangerous. And she said that there, has been almost accidents there because people move over to get to the better part that they can get through. And so that is, what I have heard.
Do you know which one?
There's only 2, I think there's only 2 railroad crossings. Is
No,
it
we have
We have like 5.
5 or 6.
5? Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Well,
Yeah. Some of them are in the township, and some of them are privately owned.
yeah.
So I don't know if she's referring to those. I know the ones downtown, we have,
You can find out which
Stephen
one. I know
Street,
we,
yeah.
Yeah,
we
I-
talked to our consultant about homes and,
3 right there.
What?
yeah,
Stephen, Holmes,
Lamont.
and then the one over by Turnabout, that's 4.
Okay, I'll try, I'll
Calamine,
try and get more
Industrial.
information
Calamine,
as to
yeah.
which one is the worst, she was
and
complaining
then 2 that are
about
in the
it.
township are Boyer and McGuire. So it could be those. I know we've been trying to work with the ICC and our engineer to spearhead an improvement over there.
Those
These
are
these
very
really
dangerous.
complicated projects,
Yeah.
and those are dangerous over there.
we've had a fatality there in the last couple of years.
Yes,
very
I
dangerous.
remember that. So that's, for right now, that's just what I would like. But I would really like to have you start thinking about climate change, and I'm not seeing that happen. I just saw another subdivision going in the meadows of somebody, and they came in and they clear cut it. Anytime you put in townhomes or the famous new homes that go in, which are the duplexes, which are on 2 houses basically on a 10,000 square foot lot, which is nothing like we had in Lamont before. And they have 2-foot backyards. I'm speaking truthfully, that's what it ended up to be. You have to start thinking of climate change, and we can't be, raping everything on the land to get rid of it. Trees are our friends. Trees take in carbon dioxide, which is what we are getting it, all the pollution from.
Jen, I'm gonna wrap you up because you're way
Oh,
over.
my 3 minutes is off.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we do it, and it's almost like we, teed you up to come up here. Kettering, good questions on Kettering. It's been a while since we've revisited. We've had good partnerships with the Cook County Highway Department. They have studied the intersections on 127th and on 131st, Derby, Parker. They did it throughout the summer. Been really a thorough report. We can make that available. Unfortunately, they use IDOT standards. There has to be a warranted need for those signals for them to even start engineering. It's almost, you're going to be, you have to show a need first based on their 10 factors, and I know I sent it to the chief earlier today. Those intersections do not meet even one of the standards yet for.
Regardless if we
Yeah,
do,
so,
I mean, I think
but-
we all feel the same way.
But Cook
you know what I
County,
mean?
we're gonna
It's-
keep on them, and they're working hard. What they're gonna look at doing at Derby is to cut the vegetation, because they did note that in the study, there is a sightline problem, which is good that they noted that.
Yeah.
Cut down the vegetation, they're gonna upgrade the signage, put some pavement markings in. There's nothing they can do in terms of flashing lights. Again, it is a county road, but even if it were our road, we have to meet standards of IDOT and Cook County. So we're trying, but they're
Well-
gonna do what they can.
Yeah, okay,
until it
Derby's
qualifies.
bad enough, but Parker is really a problem.
No, I
they're
think we
both-
all agree with you.
And I can send that out, neither of them
No, hey, I
qualify.
go down there, I'm like, this is, it's 50 miles an hour, so it's a very,
Yeah.
but
In the park, Kettering is getting a park in the spring. So the Lamont Park District has been meeting with the Kettering residents over the last 6 to 9 months. We've been involved in those conversations to some degree, because we're dealing with some improvement acceptance on our end. So the park will be happening in the spring.
will?
Yeah, so there will be a park out there next year. So, yeah, hopefully that helps.
And we hear you on the climate change. Sometimes, you know, it happened. It's actually unincorporated land right there by the grade school. They cut it all down. People can cut their trees down if they want. We can't really stop them, you know, but I hear you about development though.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right.
Thanks for hearing me.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out. All right. With that being said, okay, we're going to move into executive session. Going to need a motion to cover executive session to discuss under Chapter 5 ILCS of the Open Meetings Act, real estate purchase or lease, 120/2C5. We have real estate setting a price for sale, 122C6. We have personnel, employment, 122C1, and a litigation to establish reserves or settlement, which is 122C12. Mike, I think I got that all correct, I hope. You did. All right, with that being said, need a motion, please.
So moved.
Okay, motion by trustee Snagowski, seconded by trustee Kittredge to move into executive session. Can we have a roll call, please?
Shaughnessy?
Yes.
Snagowski?
Yes?
Kittredge? Yes. McClafferty?
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. All right, on here I have action on closed session items. Are we going to have a?
Yeah, there's
Okay,
one item.
so we're going to go into executive session, and then we're going to come back out. At this time, we will close the doors to go into executive session. We'll open it back up to the public to re-enter our public session. Until then, again, want to thank everyone for coming out and joining us. So with that being said, we are officially closed right now for the first part of our public session.